Hey guys, it's Tara here, back with another episode of McDonald County 411. I'm very excited. I'm in Pineville today at Oak Hollow Market with owners Valerie and Ireland. They are a mother-daughter duo, and I'm super excited to hear their story. So thank you for joining me today, ladies. Valerie, I've actually had the pleasure of meeting you for the first time when you came into the Chamber's office.
Yes.
And wanted to know all kinds of great questions. But the internet describes you as being a locally focused farm and artisan market built around connecting the local producers directly with the people in McDonald County. Would you say that accurately describes your vision for the market?
Absolutely. That is our vision. We really want to connect. My passion is connecting people with local food and local businesses. I think it's a really important time in our country for that. And I think that it can sometimes be a system that's set up to where it's a little bit hard for the people who want to support local accessing the local farms and the local small businesses that want to create little things that they're selling at the farmers market, but they would like to expand into a market that's like ours 6 days a week. So they have closer access to their consumers.
I think that is a much needed asset in McDonald County because there are a lot of people doing really cool things, but maybe they just aren't big enough or don't really have the desire to go out on their own, but problem solved,
right?
And so I love that. Do you have any local vendors secured? And if so, this is your time to kind of shout them out and tell us a little bit about them. Also, I know people will want to know how they can become vendors. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We have already, I think we're looking towards 35 to 40 vendors right now. We have room for more. We're really, really, really excited. And because we are, kind of a border market, we're so close to Northwest Arkansas, we are going to have vendors from Southwest Missouri, a lot in McDonald County, and some in Northwest Arkansas. So we call ourselves an exclusively local market. And that means there is not a single thing in this market that will be here from outside of Arkansas and Missouri, and possibly Oklahoma, since we are so close. If we do get a vendor that wants to come in from Northeast Oklahoma, we're open to that. But right now, everything in our market is exclusively
in the 4-state area.
Yes.
Say that's local. So, And just for you guys, just to know, they're in that new Pineville Plaza that's located right beside Walmart. Great location. Talk a little bit about that. How'd you secure this?
Yes.
Your great place.
It was a lot of the catalyst for us opening it in the first place, as we started passing by these going up for rent. And so this is such a perfect location to access the people within Northwest Arkansas. And then the people kind of even Neosho on down. It's kind of a pretty good central location to reach a lot of people and for a lot of our vendors to be easily reached for them. And so, that was a really big part of it.
Well, they say location is the old saying with business, you nailed location. Now I wanted to dig a little deeper into you guys' background, if that's okay. Tell me about where you're from and where you raised Ireland, where she grew up.
So Ireland, we lovingly refer to as an army brat because she grew up a little bit of everywhere. Her dad was in the military. We moved and bounced around kind of a lot. We're natively from Southern California, but we moved here to the Ozarks in 2013. So we've actually been out here for quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in Barry County for a while, and then moved over here to McDonald County in 2021, I believe. But I farmed when we got to the Ozarks. We just sort of began it, and Ireland helped me. We were very inspired by the rural communities, and that agriculture is such a big part of Missouri and Southwest Missouri. And I was very inspired about what you could grow and know the quality, not only of the food, but how the animals were treated, which was really important to me. Having a farm where I could treat animals in a way that I felt was humane and raise them and also grow food in our gardens and things like that. It was really important to me. So we were milking and raising grass-fed and finished beef and selling direct to consumer. And Ireland would get up every morning and help me milk.
So, that was the transition. I grew up, military and then back in Southern California. So little city kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it was super fun though, moving to the country and having space to kind of run around and then helping with all of that.
Well, I would argue that a military kid would make a great farm kid. I mean, you probably come from the type of family where you're used to routine and this is how we do things. So that probably made you thrive, honestly.
It has been a wonderful transition for us we are 6 miles down a dirt road, but we are only 20 minutes to Bentonville. It couldn't get any better for us.
What is your favorite thing about when you first started farming?
When I started my milk business, I felt incredibly proud of that. I loved meeting with my customers. I loved, touring the farm and showing them what I do. I loved being really proud of how I fed my cows, how I treated my cows. That was important to me, and it was important to my consumers. I know that that the way I farm is not for everybody, but it's for very specific people sometimes, and they really appreciate the extra work that I do.
You can tell that it's an inspiration and just the way you light it. So that's exciting. I wanted to kind of shift. There's people out there that might be watching this thinking about starting their own business. And so from a person who went from a passion to a business, what would you say to anyone wanting to start their own business? What advice would you give them, Ireland? What would you say to them?
I mean, it sounds so cliche, but just like getting outside of your comfort zone. There's been so many things that normally I would have just ordinarily quit if I didn't know that I was so invested into this business that I just like had to stick through it for hours. So my downside for sure is tech things. And so having to try to learn social media and marketing and things like that, it's been super difficult for me, but definitely pushing forward. That is the difficult thing with small businesses, learning new things and pushing through. So it's really hard.
I like that, pushing through, because that's so true. It's like there are parts of my job that I love and there are parts that I'm not so comfortable with and that maybe I struggle, but I have to push through them and do them to be able to produce a podcast. It's that push through that really makes or breaks a person. A lot of people will quit at that first bit of resistance. So that's awesome. What would you say?
The exact same. I draw a lot of strength from when I began farming. It was not all beautiful. It was very, very hard. When things go wrong with an animal on a farm, it's crisis. It's emergency. You better know what you're going to do. And so I leaned really heavily and so gratefully on my farming and ranching neighbors that had been doing this generationally. They knew that I had not. And one of the best compliments I ever received was from my neighbor. His name was Chuck. He would kind of side-eye me like, what are you doing with cattle, you city girl? And by the time I left, we were very close, and he was so helpful. He helped me pull a calf once from a mama cow who was having birthing difficulties at 2 a.m. in the freezing rain. He had pneumonia, and he came and pulled a calf. But he said to me before I moved, he said, what you lacked in knowledge, you made up for in grit. And that meant so much to me. And I feel that every day right now. It's just my grit that's getting me through. It is not a lot of knowledge. We have to learn something new every day, both of us. But we are here to say if we can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to have determination.
Well, I think that's super inspiring, you guys. Good answers. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure we talk about your big grand opening and ribbon cutting. So that's going to be Thursday, June 18th, guys, at noon. Ribbon cutting and door prizes, some giveaways. That sounds really fun. Tell us a little bit about what to expect.
We do want it to be pretty celebratory. We're excited to offer a few small giveaways. Some of my vendors will be here. We have a farm right down the road doing bison. We will have beef and lamb and pork and pastured poultry, as well as eggs. We have just a ton of wonderful vendors on our food side. And then we have an artisan side and just so many wonderful creators, from soap to candles to tallow and lotions and bug sprays and fresh cut bouquet flowers just that are absolutely lovely. But people can find how to become a vendor by just emailing me, or they can connect with me through our website. Social media, email, website, all of those places.
Let's throw your website out there.
It's oakhollowmarket.com.
oakhollowmarket.com, guys. I would encourage any local vendors out there to come see these ladies because they have a true passion for what they're doing. And this space, I can tell you, it's going to be gorgeous. Okay, guys, I think that's about all we have for today's episode. we did want to throw out that she is actually going to open her doors here coming up in early June.
Yeah, June 7th, we will have our doors open. We pushed the grand opening out just a little farther from that so that we have time to sort of work out the kinks for everybody by the time they come.
And what's your hours? So
we are open 6 days a week, closed on Saturdays, and our hours are the same every day, and that's 10:30 to 6:30.
Well, thank you, ladies. It was such a pleasure, and best of luck. I know you will succeed. Bye, guys.